Hey y'all, watch how I turn this Dollar Tree sign into this beautiful sign. So you just get your Dollar Tree sign, um, and then you're going to need some gloves, the hammer to open it with. That's the only reason you need it. Your mini wax wood finish. I use the Jocko bean. Your sponge, paper towels, and then you're going to rub down your wood to give it this beautiful finish. It's so pretty. Then I go into my design space, create what I want it to say. I use the Duck brand vinyl. It's not vinyl, but shelf liner. Now I've got it ready. I'm going to let my Cricut do the cutting, cut the stencil out. And then after that, we're going to go in and we are going to peel or weed the stencil. Well, it's going to take a minute here. Hold on. Okay, so let's weed our stencil. This is probably the most tedious part of the whole project. Now, I do use the Duck brand. Like I said, it's the shelf liner vinyl. It's the stick-on kind. You can always get the one from Dollar Tree. I just prefer the Duck brand, and I find it at Walmart. But you could also check Home Depot or places like that. I'm sure you can find it there. So there's the rundown on what I use for my stencil. And Mr. Colton is our photographer, so he thought it would be cool to do the in and out thing with the camera. So y'all just be patient with us. He's learning a lot, and he's my helper. I appreciate it. This is a stencil, like I said, that I went in and created. I don't do any of my designing in Design Space. I do it elsewhere, and then I bring it into Design Space as a SVG file. It just seems easier for me, but you can go and do it in Design Space, and it be easier for you there. Just give it a try. This is just the way that I like to do it. Isn't that cute? Okay, so now we are going to use the contact paper clear shelf liner. That's what I use to transfer. That's what I use as my transfer tape. It's easy as it could be to pull that liner off. And we're going to place it onto our wooden piece. Rub it down really well. I don't put a whole lot of thought in this. I just kind of roll with it, guys, because the beauty of it is it's not perfect. So I know for me that there's times that I can just be totally OCD and a pain in the rear with it, but just have fun with it. Roll with it and have fun. You see that tearing? Yep. It does it. Alright, so we're pulling up that, laying it down flat, making sure there's not any bubbles or any spots. By the way, y'all, that I'm using to rub it down is something from like the baking section. I love it. It's a bowl scraper, but I love it. Okay, so we're using the Plaster Waverly paint, my favorite chalk paint. And I just dab it first. I dab it on the sign all the way down, make sure you get a very good coverage of it. You could use a paintbrush if you have a paintbrush. I just prefer less cleanup. It's kind of like when you're cooking and you don't want to use a bunch of plates, so you just use paper plates because it's easier to throw it away. Yep, that's why I use the sponges. It's just easier cleanup and I could throw everything away. I don't have to rinse all that paint out of the brush because that's where I get OCD, is trying to clean up my paintbrushes. Alright, and then after I do my dabbing, I'm going to come back through and I am going to rub just to make sure that all that paint covers everything perfectly, because you do want to make sure that every letter has paint on it. The importance of this, though, is to, when you first lay down that shelf liner, is to make sure it's stuck on there well so that your paint does not mess up during this process. Because if anything's sticking up, it will mess up. Okay, so real quick, I'm just going to run this blow dryer over it just to dry up the paint. And now we're going to peel it. Colton says, "Ah, this is satisfying." And then I'm going to grab a little tool that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to pick up the remaining of this shelf liner or stencil or whatever you want to call it. Vinyl, whatever you use. And there it is. Okay, so now we're going to take it outside. We're going to use this I don't know what kind of brand it is, but it's a satin clear finish, and I just cover it because I don't want to shine to it. I want it to keep its rustic look, and that way there it's protected. There we go. Thanks for watching, y'all. I hope y'all enjoy this tutorial. Go pick up those signs at Dollar Tree and get to making.